Hello, this is Jimmy Lennon Jr., and a big shout out to my friends at Valera Boxing. It's showtime.
Valera Boxing, idol, shout out.
This Saturday, April 9, Eumir Marcial, the Philippines, will face Isiah Hart of Mays Landing, New Jersey, on the untelevised undercard of the Lubin versus Fundora PBC show at the theater at Virgin Hotels in Las Vegas, Nevada. In the US, Lubin versus Fundora will broadcast live on Showtime. Eumir Marcial boasts a professional record of 1 win and no losses. He's coming off a unanimous decision victory over Andrew Whitfield in December 2020 in Los Angeles, California. We last saw Eumir in the ring, however, winning a bronze medal for the Philippines in the Tokyo Olympic Games.
Yeah.
Isiah Hart, from our home state of New Jersey, has a record of 6 wins with 2 losses, with 1 draw. 4 of those wins by knockout. Hart is coming off a 6-round TKO loss by Francis Hogan back in July of last year in Dedham, Massachusetts. Magandang araw mga kaibigan, lalo na sa Pilipinas. I'm Chris from Valera Boxing, and I'm joined by Carlo and Monty. Carlo, Monty, welcome. Kamusta kayo?
Hello.
Hey.
How are you guys?
Eumir Marcial, fresh off a bronze medal in last year's Olympics, looks to build his professional resume and career. He's made some changes since he was last in the ring professionally. He has a new trainer in Jorge Capetillo, a new strength and conditioning coach in Memo Heredia, and is now training in Las Vegas, Nevada. Eumir is a bit of a unicorn in Filipino boxing. He's a 5'11" middleweight, where Filipino boxing heroes are mostly in the lighter weight classes. But everyone is excited about his prospective professional career because of his boxing talent and heavy-handed power. Isiah Hart is 30 years old and also had a later start in his professional career with his first fight in 2018. We mentioned Eumir's size at 5'11", but Hart is 6'2". Both Marcial and Hart like to throw and mix it up. This 6-round fight has the potential for a lot of energy and action. Carlo, what are your thoughts for Eumir entering this fight?
I'm excited to see Eumir fight. You mentioned that it's also a 6-rounder, so it's going to be his first 6-rounder. Right now, he's in his prime at 26 years old. I'm excited to see the switch from the amateur style to the pro style, and on how he paces himself and how he moves, how powerful he is. I really think he's a powerful puncher, and along with his boxing skills from carrying that on from the amateurs, Olympic amateurs. So I'm excited to see all of that, how Jorge could change his style and develop his skills as a pro boxer. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm very excited. A 5'11" middleweight, unheard of, in a long time. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, Chris.
Well, first of all, it's so good to see an actual Filipino middleweight. As a taller Filipino myself, I see in Eumir, like a fellow brother. So I'm really excited to see him. But jokes aside, this I hope that Eumir gets some quality rounds out of this person, because Hart is coming off a knockout himself, and he probably will never have fought someone who's strong and as heavy puncher or as skilled as Eumir. This is a step up in class and ability, and I suppose that from Eumir's point of view, you come to fight. But hopefully he at least gets some quality rounds out of this, because I truly believe that this is a complete mismatch, and that anything short of completely overlooking Isiah Hart, Eumir Marcial is going to win.
So you guys all know that Eumir was in Las Vegas for Jerwin Ancajas's title defense, or attempted title defense. And so I met Eumir in person, and the first impression that I had is, man, this is a big dude. And I don't we've seen him on YouTube or we've seen him on television. But when you see him in person, he's a big guy, and he and I even talked about his size, just his height and his weight, his strength. When I had a chance to visit the house they were staying at on that Sunday, and he was explaining to me he's a heavy boned dude. If you watched his first professional fight, and this was often talked about in that broadcast, he's a heavy-handed guy that has a lot of power. In fact, he was pummeling Andrew Whitfield, and I think he swelled his eye in the first round. If you watch the Olympic fight, though, that style could be very, very different for his first 6-round fight. His first professional fight was a 4-round fight, and it went the distance. But really, you probably could have stopped it after the second round after you saw Andrew Whitfield's eye. There's a different style when it comes to amateur boxing versus professional boxing. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a very big style. I mean, first of all, you're fighting for 3 rounds in the amateurs, and volume counts. It's all about throwing punches. It's all about activity, how active you are, how you control the ring, not being pushed back against the ropes. That all counts in the amateurs, and it's fast paced, like I said, 3 rounds. So that's why him going to his first, with the Whitfield fight, that's a 4-rounder, and you can still see, I mean, he threw a lot of punches, threw a lot of combinations, and he moved a lot too. I mean, I also thought that Eumir got hit more than
He
he
needed
should.
to. Yeah.
So unnecessary punches taken, but maybe he was showing out because it's his debut, so he has to show that maybe he can do it all, and it showed that he can do it all. And this 6-round fight coming up, we'll see the difference. Now maybe he has to sit more on his punches now. He has to really land solid left hands and deliver knockouts now. So, if you don't need to go 6 rounds, why go 6 rounds if he has the power to do it? I think we all know that he has the power to put people down.
I think part of that showing out is that amateur style. Again, there's not much of a difference between 3 rounds and 4 rounds. It's going to happen, or it's going to end very quickly either way. Either it's by knockout or just the rounds are over. It was hit and be hit. And this is a 6-round fight, and he's going to build his career and build up to 10 and 12-round fights where you're going to have some feel-out rounds and pace yourself a bit. This is a 6-round fight, though. Monty, do you see much of a difference in approach, considering we're doubling the rounds from an amateur fight, or it's from a 4-round fight to a 6-round fight? Will he fight the same, or will we have to have a little bit more head movement and some defense or some defensive responsibility?
Yeah, I would think of a little bit of both. I also agree that there were some shots taken in the Whitfield fight that if they were from a more hurtful, a more impactful fighter, that it probably would have hurt a lot more, and it would have led to a negative result. But as it pertains to Isiah Hart in this particular fight, yeah, I'd like to see Eumir, I guess slacken the pace, ease the pace up a little bit, feel it out, see what Hart wants to do. But absolutely finish strong and continue to keep attacking. He can be strategic, but also still remain on the offensive, because really the Isiah Hart has no business being in the ring with him. This is such a tremendous gap in skills and power and attributes. So I truly hope that Eumir just stays disciplined, doesn't try to be overly aggressive. You're susceptible to a shot. Anything can happen in boxing. But yeah, I think that it would be in his interest to try to take him into somewhat deep waters, then finish him.
So let's talk about Isiah Hart, who is not shy to throw. In fact, in his last fight and the other fights that we've watched, he's not afraid to scrap, and he may be wild and open in his approach, but he will throw his hands and he will fight back. What are you guys' thoughts on Isiah Hart as a fighter?
Yeah, he's tall, he has long arms, so he if yeah, Yumir's getting better, that means Isaiah's getting better as well. So he probably would use that length um to throw straight punches and try to land them. The thing about Isaiah is I feel like he's very awkward. He's very open. He's very raw. So the awkwardness though is what got me. Throwing punches from all angles, throwing punches with not really is he's not really fine tuned. Let's just put it that way. Technique wise, Eumir obviously can throw it down the line, 1-2. Isaiah can do it too, but we saw his last fight, and he throws a lot of wild punches. Wild punches. He gets off balance, so that leaves him open too. That leaves him open. Doesn't have great footwork either. So, I mean, Eumir has all the signs there that that he can take advantage of, and we got to always be careful too. His awkwardness can let's just watch out for that, because the awkwardness, he's an orthodox, Yumir's a southpaw, so the headbutt, that's accidental headbutts, that can get funny, that can go the opposite direction as soon as something bad happens like that. So I think that's something. It's good for him to take care of this guy, Eumir, to take care of this guy as soon as possible, because, like I said, that's a chance you're taking too with an awkward guy. That means the accidental headbutts are there. It can really make the fight ugly. So that's my thoughts on Isiah Hart. He knows what it's like to win. He knows what it's like to lose. He knows what he's going up against, and I'm sure he's looking at it like, I got nothing to lose, and I'm gonna try to put this guy away.
Think of it this way: there are opponents that Eumir has faced in the Olympic Games and these international competitions at the amateur level that are far superior to Isiah Hart. So I think that if I'm Isiah Hart's team, I'm focusing on polishing up some of his fundamental lapses in defense. If I'm looking on the bright side of things, just a little more control. All right, take advantage of the length, and try to find out, has Eumir improved his head movement and lateral side to side angles, since the Whitfield fight, because that was a very limited fighter who still scored some meaningful shots. So let's test that. If I'm Isiah Hart, I watch that film and I see the way the Whitfield somewhat prospered in limited spurts, but eventually Eumir overcame those obstacles. But yeah, if Hart cleans up certain fundamental aspects of his game, he's got a chance. But I just think the talent level and the skills level is just so vast that hopefully the best he can do is a good showing. But ultimately, I think he's getting knocked out.
So let's talk about Isiah Hart's keys to victory. Everyone has a puncher's chance, and he has professional experience, and he's been in the ring. He's fighting against a 1-0 Eumir Marcial, highly experienced as an amateur boxer, has the finest training, but he's still fresh in his career. What does Isiah Hart need to do to come out victorious here on Saturday?
To make the fight ugly. I think that's the only time we can actually he can actually have a chance, or believe he has a chance of winning against Marcial. Make it ugly and have that puncher's chance. I have not seen some good boxing from his last fight, from Isiah Hart, and the last guy he fought, I believe, was a southpaw as well. And that you see the difference of the skill. Once that guy, once the opponent he fought was warmed up and figured him out, and you could see like how composed his opponent was, and Isiah Hart was all over the place. He was throwing, he was against the ropes, he got knocked down and all that stuff, and the guy didn't lose his composure. And it just shows like how if and with the level of Eumir Marcial's skill and experience in the amateurs, I mean, it's not that far off in a 6-round professional fight. Um, I think that Isiah Hart's, if he can make it a brawl, he can make this a lot of wrestling, a lot of leaning against the ropes, shots on the inside that maybe the referees can't see, any pro experience that he can use. I think that's his keys to victory. I have not seen him use his length or his range throwing straight shots against the southpaw from his last fight. So keys to victory for Isiah Hart, making the fight ugly as possible. I think he'll take his chances there.
Yeah, to build off of that, yeah, make it a fight right away. That is to say, jump on him here right away. Test his patience. Test how much the referee is going to get involved, because obviously, in the Olympic level, there's a lot more aggressive, officiating. But as it pertains to the ref, see what he can get away with, and hopefully take advantage of the fact that it is a new trainer. He's in a new city. See what happens when there's a little bit of adversity, and you're not in your usual way of handling a fight or handling a setback. It's your first time new team. So and those are all the things that actually have to go right for Hart to win. So it's a big mountain to climb, but it all starts with basically jumping right on Marcial right away. He cannot hesitate. He cannot allow Eumir to just jump on him, because I think he will.
In addition to what you guys mentioned, I think Isiah Hart is going to have a chin. His chin will be tested. Eumir is going to connect, and it's pretty difficult. There's some difficulty in trying to study Eumir Marcial preparing for this fight. His last professional fight was December 2020, and then he's essentially training for the Olympics after that. A lot of that, the Tokyo Olympics were delayed a year, and Eumir was allowed to fight in the Olympic Games even after his professional fight. And the styles are completely different. You could study what he did versus Andrew Whitfield, then you could study all the fights in the Olympic tournament, and you're looking at two different styles. Again, like you guys mentioned, the Olympic style is just heavy volume for 3 straight rounds. It's just constant hitting and being hit and just volume over and over again. Against Andrew Whitfield, he was throwing his 1-2. What I like about Eumir is his 1-2 and hook to the body, and then he pivots out. There's tremendous boxing skill when it comes to Eumir, and he will connect, and he was connecting quite hard against Andrew Whitfield. And again, so Isiah Hart's chin is going to be tested, and to see if he could absorb that power, because Eumir is going to throw and he's going to connect. He's that good and he's that accurate. But we also saw, and like we mentioned earlier, Eumir did get hit against Andrew Whitfield, and again, because of the style of Olympic style boxing, he was getting hit in the Olympic Games too. So I would like to see Eumir move his head and again have some defensive responsibility. But if we're talking about keys to victory for Isiah Hart, he has the opportunity to connect against Eumir, and like we said, everyone has a puncher's chance when they're in that ring, and if he can connect against Eumir Marcial, he has a chance of winning there. Let's talk about Eumir Marcial's keys to victory. What does Eumir need to do to come out victorious on Saturday?
Go right at Isiah Hart. Go right at it. Use his abilities, use his skills, use his power, his boxing ability. Eumir Marcial, not only he changes his level of punches, he can, like you just mentioned it, Chris, a jab, cross, and a hook to the body. He does that. Coming from a southpaw stance, the way you turn is going to be different. So I think that as soon as Eumir gives him some angles and throws his combination, I think it's going to be an early night.
Yeah, Eumir has to stay on the offensive. Don't let Isiah Hart make it too ugly. Use some of those skills. Turn a Hart, sidestep, use superior angles. The power shots are going to land, but it'd be great to see if we also develop the defense a little bit as Eumir rises up the ranks of the middleweight division.
Oh yeah, can't wait.
Again, I like his combinations. I think we all agree with that. His technical ability and his boxing ability is quite good. He's gone through some amazing training as a accomplished professional fighter. Again, in his first professional fight, he was with Freddie Roach, and now he's with Jorge Capetillo. So he's had the finest boxing training. His conditioning should be better with Memo Heredia. Not that it wasn't versus Andrew Whitfield, but he is training for a 6-round fight. So he's training to at least go the distance there. What I like about Eumir Marcial is his left hand. You mentioned he's a southpaw, Carlo. His left hand is devastating. He has a great straight left hand. In fact, when that was connecting against Andrew Whitfield, like I said, they probably could have stopped that fight after the second round, seeing Andrew Whitfield's eye. I mean, that wasn't just a mouse. That was like a rat under his right eye. And that swelled very, very quickly. And, props to Andrew Whitfield for being a tough dude, because he was catching some shots.
Yeah. Credit to
His
him.
combinations, again, like I said, that 1-2 hook to the body, it's crisp, it's fundamental, and it connects. So if you could do that against Isiah Hart, and you guys know I don't like predicting knockouts, but if there was a fight where I'm going to predict a knockout, I think it's this one, especially for a 6-round fight, because I just don't see how Isiah Hart can last a full 6 rounds if Eumir Marcial is on point and accurate and doing what he needs to do inside of the ring. So Carlo, sino ang mananalo?
Eumir Marcial mananalo. My prediction is by knockout. Eumir Marcial by knockout. That's my prediction. All right. So looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Monty.
I think I don't think this fight is going the very brief distance of 6 rounds. I think we're going to get a stoppage, and it's going to be Eumir Marcial.
I agree with you guys. I have Eumir Marcial with this one also. Leave your comments and let us know who you think will win this Saturday from the theater at Virgin Hotels in Las Vegas, Nevada. Eumir Marcial and Isiah Hart.
Let's go, Eumir. Let's go, baby. Valera Boxing. Woo!